Alright, I was doing a bit of research for my Double Masters 2022 draft primer, and I was looking at the distribution of multicolored cards across a common, uncommon, rare, and mythic, and how that all kind of works together. And I got down this whole rabbit hole of looking at how many rares and mythics you're going to get in a box, how many foil rares and mythics you're going to get in a box, and got a bit distracted by it. But I thought when I was putting it together that people might be interested in it, so I'm going to share what I found here. I'm going to be mainly looking at draft boosters. I'll do a little bit at the end on collector boosters, but there's not really much variation going on there. There's a couple of things to mention. But the draft boosters themselves, you got this image from Wizards. This is on their Collecting Double Masters 2022 article, which I'll link in the description down below. But this is what they've said. So it says, the top line says 2 cards of any rarity, rare or higher. So this is going to be, you got your 2 rares on mythics, and you got 2 foils, which can be common, uncommon, rare, or mythic. You get 3 uncommons, a bit like you would a normal draft booster. You get 8 commons because 2 of those common slots are taken up by the foils. You get a Cryptic Spires as a guaranteed land card, so I don't think you get any basics in this set, and you get a token as well. So the kind of fairly normal distribution. You've got the 2 rares instead of what you'd normally get, and you've also got the 2 foils guaranteed as well in every pack, so you get fewer commons, but you've got this kind of distribution here. You also get some borderless cards, and these come in all rarities, so you get them from common. You got the Monastery Swift Spear here, which has been downshifted to common, and that's got its new borderless art, all the way up to mythic, with you got the Concordant Crossroads, and they've got their own kind of distribution. So, had a look at like kind of how many mythics I'd expect, how many rares you'd expect, and you would normally get in a normal kind of standard set, you would get 1 mythic in about 7.6 boosters. It used to be 1 mythic in 8 boosters, but that was changed around Zendikar Rising. So, and it's important to note as well that that change happened after the previous Double Masters. So in the previous Double Masters, they were looking at the 1 in 8, and that's kind of assumed what it was. And now we're looking at about 1 in 7.6. So slightly more common, occurring in about 13.5% of boosters. I think it was about in 12% of boosters before. So they've went up a little bit. If you're going to assume this is happening and that the 2 rare slots are independent of each other, which is what Wizards seem to imply, it means you've got in about 1.73% of packs, you're going to get 2 mythics. You're going to get a double mythic pack in that non-foil slot. It goes up slightly if you include the foil slots, but you've got a chance of getting a double foil in 1.73 packs. So about 1 in... it's going to be about 1 in 66 packs are going to be like that. So that's going to be 1 in every 3 boxes or so. Yeah, roughly 1 in 3 boxes. There are 6.5 mythics in a box, and this works out about 14.5 rares. So because you got this double rare slot, you do have quite a few mythics in the slot in the boxes. So you're going to end up with about 6.5 mythics overall, which is quite good. But you know, it's a bar to set yourself against. If you open the box, you should be drafting a box. But if you open a box, it's a bar to set yourself against. For foils, you're going to automatically get 2 foils per pack. And I'm going to make a bit of an assumption here in that the distribution of foils in this slot is about the same as it is in the rest of the pack. So you out of your 8 commons, 3 uncommons, and 2 rares or mythics, then that's going to end up being 13 cards in total. So you're going to 8 13ths of that is going to be commons, 3 13ths of that's going to be uncommons, and 2 13ths of that is going to be rare or mythic. And this is definitely an assumption on my part, but I think when I was looking at the percentages and the drop rates, I think it seems good enough to make this calculation. It's really difficult to find out the distribution of the foils, rares, commons, uncommons, and mythics and stuff in the foil slots. So that's what I'm going to go with here. And if you work this out, it works out about 6.4 foil rares in a box and a roughly 1 foil mythic per box. It was just slightly less than that. It was 0.98 or something like that. So roughly 1 foil mythic in a box and 6.4 foil rares in a box. To be honest, not a guaranteed foil mythic, but you know, the average of 1 foil mythic box I think is still quite good, especially for a 24 booster pack box. So you know, that's quite positive. I mean, I know these boosters are expensive, but that is kind of what we're at. Looking at the borderless cards, they work slightly different at common and uncommon than they do at rare and mythic. So with common and uncommons, essentially what it says is 1 in 3 of any of the cards which could be borderless are going to be borderless. So 1 in 3, it says here, 1 in 3 Mull Drifters is going to be borderless, 1 in 3 Rampant Growth is going to be borderless, and it works the same at common in foil as well. So there are 9 common borderless cards. There's 21 uncommon, because there's more uncommon cards that you kind of want to be borderless that are more special. So 9 commons and 21 uncommons, and each of these could be borderless. Well, each of these will be borderless in 1 in 3. So we'll have a look at what that means for the numbers that you're going to expect in a box in a little bit. For rares and mythics, 11% of the boosters will contain at least one non-foil borderless rare or mythic. It says it's possible to open 2, so I'm going to say each slot has got an 11% chance of being rare or mythic. It might be slightly lower than that. It might be kind of taking the average a slightly different way, but I'm going to assume this means that each slot has an 11% chance that it's going to be a borderless rare or borderless mythic. So I think that kind of works out at just over 1% to get a double borderless pack in that normal rare slot. Finally, for borderless cards in the foil slot, we've already talked about the commons and uncommons. So you're going to have that foil slot that's going to have distribution, and the common and uncommons. If you get a foil Muldrifter, there's a 1 in 3 chance it'll be a borderless foil Muldrifter. So that's going to kind of be the distribution there as well. For the foil borderless rares and mythics, 1.25% will be a foil of the foil cards will be a foil borderless rare or mythic, and then I'm going to assume it's that 1 to 7.6 ratio between rares and mythics here as well, so that we'll be able to have a look at kind of what this means to a box. So for non-foil borderless in a box, I've worked it out. You get roughly 6.3 borderless commons, roughly 6.3 borderless uncommons, and when I looked at the decimals, it was slightly higher for uncommons than it was for commons, because there's more of the uncommons will be borderless by nature, but there's going to be fewer uncommons overall, but they work out to be roughly the same. You get roughly 5.3 borderless rares in a box, and 0.7, so less than 1 borderless mythic per box, which, yeah, kind of makes sense with the other numbers that we've seen. So this is the non-foil borderless in specific. For the foil, similar distribution with the commons and uncommons. So a borderless foil common, roughly 1 per box. Same with a foil uncommon, roughly 1 per box. So these are still going to be quite rare. You're going to get 1 borderless foil rare in every 2 boxes, so 0.5 per box. And less than 10% of boxes will have a borderless foil mythic. So these are going to be still quite rare. Collector booster boxes are going to be a bit more standard, so you're going to have definitely going to have 1 traditional or textured foil at rare or mythic. We'll have a quick look at those textured foils in a little bit. 1 foil etched rare or mythic. Now, as far as I can tell, you can't get these in your normal draft boosters. You can only get these foil etched cards, and as well as textured foil in the collector boosters. You get a non-foil rare or mythic guaranteed. You get a traditional foil rare or mythic guaranteed. So you're going to get 4 guaranteed rares or mythics, 1 foil etched, 1 foil, but the foil could be upgraded to one of these textured foils you can see on your screen now. So they've got this really nice treatment. And according to Wizards website, you're going to get 3% of collector boosters are going to have this upgrade from a normal foil to a textured foil. So all of them are going to have foil etched in there. They're going to have 1 foil etched in each of them, but only 3%, which is roughly 1 in 33 boosters, is going to be upgraded to this textured foil. So these are going to be super, super rare. Anyway, that's it from now. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I will be bringing out my video on the draft primer probably tomorrow now. I was hoping to get it out today, but I decided to make this one instead. And I'm going to be looking at the value cards that are in that common and uncommon slot, and the ones that you really want to be looking at for those showcase versions of. So make sure you're going to stay tuned for that. Anyway, catch you around, and thanks for watching. Bye.